What if I told you that some of the things you spend money on every month, the ones that seem harmless, ordinary, even comforting, might actually be stealing your peace? Not just your dollars, but your lightness, your freedom, your joy. You see, after 60, something begins to shift. Life doesn't rush us anymore. There's more time to breathe, to notice, to feel. And yet, many of us still carry habits that were built for a different season, a season of hustle, of proving, of planning for one day. But now, we are living in that one day, right here, right now. In this video, we're going to walk through 9 common things that women often keep spending money on, even when they don't serve them anymore. I'm not here to judge. I'm not here to tell you to cut corners or live small. No, my friend, I'm here to offer you something lighter, a way of spending and living that feels freer, more grounded, and deeply joyful. Let me tell you about someone I once knew. Her name was Carol. At 67, Carol had a closet full of brand name clothes, a phone she barely understood how to use, and more streaming subscriptions than she had time to watch. I don't know how it all added up, she told me one afternoon as we sat by her garden. I guess I just kept buying like I always did. But something shifted. One month, she challenged herself to pause, not to buy less, but to buy wiser. And what she discovered wasn't just more money in her account. She found more room to breathe, to enjoy, to laugh at old reruns, to cook real meals, to walk without guilt. I stopped spending to impress, she said, and started spending to feel alive. So if you've ever looked at your bank statement and thought, how did this get here? Or if a part of you is wondering if maybe, just maybe, you're holding on to spending that no longer fits the life you truly want, this video is for you, because letting go isn't about giving up, it's about coming home to yourself. Let's begin. There was a time when getting dressed felt like putting on a kind of armor. Back in our 40s and 50s, a good outfit could change the way we walked into a room. A nice pair of heels, a leather handbag, that one designer blouse that made us feel put together. It all meant something back then. We dressed for the job, for the event, for the impression. For decades, we were told that how we looked spoke volumes. And maybe, at the time, it did. But something beautiful happens after 60. The world begins to feel quieter. Our days aren't filled with boardrooms or parent-teacher nights. They're filled with slower mornings, warm kitchens, and grandbabies who don't care what brand your scarf is. They just want you to sit on the floor and play. Let me tell you about Lorraine, a dear friend of mine from upstate New York. She used to be the queen of elegance. Chanel lipstick, silk scarves, always in heels. Her closet looked like a department store. But after retirement, she said, I stood in front of my closet one day and realized none of it fit who I was anymore. Not just the sizes, the lifestyle. So Lorraine did something brave. She let go. Not all at once, but slowly, piece by piece. She donated the dresses, she gave the shoes to her niece, and she started dressing for comfort. Soft sweaters, stretchy pants, cozy slippers. For the first time, she told me, I wasn't dressing to be seen. I was dressing to be me. Here's a truth we rarely say out loud. Real elegance has nothing to do with labels. It's in the way we smile at someone from across the room. It's in the gentle way we listen, in the warmth of our presence. No blouse can give you that. You already have it. So the next time you feel tempted by a sale or a status symbol, ask yourself, is this for me or for who I used to be? As I like to say, you don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. The same goes for how we dress. Let your clothes love you back. Let them serve your comfort, your joy, your now. And speaking of now, there's another place our money quietly slips away, all in the name of staying current. Let's talk about technology and the pressure to keep up. tech temptation, you're not missing out. You've seen the ads every year, a new phone, a new gadget, a new promise. Better battery, sharper camera, smarter features. It's easy to feel like if you don't upgrade, you're falling behind, like the world is racing ahead and you're stuck with yesterday's tools. But let me ask you this gently. What if you're not missing out? What if you're just not being pulled in? I remember chatting with Eleanor, 72, from Oregon. Sharp as ever, always had a quick wit. When the new phone came out with that titanium finish and triple lens camera, she bought it. She thought, maybe it'll make video calls clearer. Maybe I'll take better pictures of the roses in my garden. But within a week, she was overwhelmed. Menus looked different. Buttons moved. She couldn't even find the flashlight. What was supposed to make life easier made her feel lost and a little embarrassed. She missed calls, couldn't send pictures. She felt disconnected from the very people she bought the phone for. So she returned it, picked up her old model again, the one with the scratches, the simple screen, but also the one that rang when her daughter called and showed her grandbaby smile when they FaceTimed on Sunday evenings. She said, I didn't need smarter, I just needed simpler. And she was right. We live in a time where everything is telling us newer is better. But the truth? Wisdom isn't about chasing the new. It's about knowing when what you already have is enough. If your phone still calls the people you love, takes photos of your garden, and lets you check the weather, maybe that's all it needs to do. As I like to remind myself, you don't clean the house just to make it look good, you my game. You do it so it loves you back. Technology should be the same. If it confuses you, drains you, or empties your wallet, it's not loving you back. Now, speaking of things that quietly drain us, let's take a closer look at something even more silent: interest. Not the kind from people, the kind from credit cards, and how it can slowly weigh down even the lightest of hearts. Little leaks. Subscriptions that add up. It often starts so small. A free trial here, a few dollars a month there. Maybe it's a fitness app you meant to use every morning, or that streaming service you signed up for just to watch one special show. It doesn't feel like much. $8.99, $14.99. But like a slow drip from a faucet, those little leaks can quietly drain more than just your wallet. Let me tell you about Margaret. She's 666, lives alone now in a cozy little house in Texas. During the pandemic, when days felt long and lonely, she signed up for just about every streaming service she could find: Netflix, Disney+, Hulu, even some online courses and recipe apps. It made sense at the time. The world was closed, and she wanted company, color, stories. But months passed, and she realized she only watched the same two shows: Old British Mysteries and a cooking show she could have found on regular TV. The rest just sat there, quietly charging her card every month. When she finally checked her bank statement, she was shocked. Over $90 a month, that's more than $1,000 a year for things she didn't even use. That realization stung. Not because she had done something wrong, but because she saw how easy it was to forget. Companies count on that. They count on us not noticing the quiet trickle. But Margaret took back control. She made a list of every subscription, kept only the ones she truly loved, and discovered that her local library, her library, gave her access to thousands of movies and documentaries for free. She said, "It felt like taking a breath I didn't know I'd been holding." And here's the deeper truth. You don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. That applies to your finances too. It's not just about saving money, it's about feeling lighter, clearer, more in charge of the space around you and inside you. Next, we'll take an even closer look at something more hidden, more emotional: the quiet weight of debt. Not just the numbers, but the feelings behind them. Let's talk about how to gently release that burden. starting with the one thing that affects more than just our bank accounts: the cost of hope. When lottery tickets replace purpose, every week, millions of people hold on to a little slip of paper, semansi, not just for the chance at money, but for what that money promises: a new beginning, a little freedom, a dream come true. But when the dream keeps costing you quietly over and over again, it's time to pause and ask, what are we really buying? Dolores is 65, retired from her job at the post office in Ohio. For years, she played the lottery every week: Powerball on Wednesday, Mega Millions on Friday. It was never much, just $10 here, $20 there, more when the jackpot soared. She called it her tiny ticket to something bigger: a mortgage-free life, a trip across the country, help for her kids. But one rainy afternoon, she sat down with her receipts and did the math. In 5 years, she'd spent more than $5,000 on tickets. She had never won more than $20. The moment hit her hard, not out of shame, but out of deep reflection. That money could have gone to memories, to experiences, to real joys that don't rely on chance. She realized that what she truly missed wasn't wealth. It was direction, a sense of purpose. So she changed the game. Dolores created what she called her joy jar. Every week, instead of buying tickets, she put that $20 into the jar. In a few months, she used it to take a pottery class. Later, she took her granddaughter on a day trip to a small museum. She says, "It's the only jar that's ever paid me back in laughter." Because here's the truth. You don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. And you don't chase dreams to escape your life. You chase them to deepen it. Now, let's talk about another quiet cost, one that hides in takeout bags and tired hearts. When convenience starts replacing connection, how do we gently come back to nourishing ourselves with more than food? Let's take a look. Empty calories of convenience. The true price of delivery. There's something tempting about tapping a screen and having a hot meal show up at your door. No dishes, no chopping, no thinking, just food. Fast, salty, and easy. But what happens when convenience becomes the main course and nourishment becomes an afterthought? Linda, a 63-year-old widow in California, found herself reaching for delivery menus more often after her husband passed. The silence in her kitchen was louder than she expected. Cooking for one felt hollow. So she started ordering out: Chinese on Mondays, burgers on Thursdays, pasta on weekends. It felt like relief, like care without the work. But over time, the effects showed up. Her doctor noticed rising blood pressure. Her jeans didn't fit like they used to. More than that, she felt sluggish, not just in body, but in spirit. When she finally looked at her bank statement, she realized she had spent over $3,000 in a year. Not on memories, but on meals she barely tasted, eaten alone with the TV humming in the background. That was her wake-up call. Not out of guilt, but out of longing. She missed real food and real connection, so she started small. 3 home-cooked meals a week. Simple things: roasted vegetables, a pot of soup, grilled chicken with herbs. She played music while she cooked. She lit a candle while she ate. And slowly, something shifted. Her kitchen didn't feel so lonely. It felt alive. Now she invites her neighbor over once a week for lunch. They laugh, swap recipes, and feel less alone together. Here's the quiet wisdom. You don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. The same goes for your meals. They aren't just fuel. They're moments of care, little rituals of self-respect. So as we look ahead, let's explore another kind of habit, the ones that gather dust and whisper disappointment every time we walk by. What happens when our good intentions start taking up space from mind and stealing our peace? Let's take a gentle look next. Guilt dust. When exercise equipment becomes shame. We all start with the best intentions, don't we? A new year, a birthday, a doctor's gentle nudge, And suddenly there's a treadmill in the living room, a bike in the guest room, or some shiny weights tucked under the bed. We picture ourselves glowing with energy, getting stronger with each passing day. But then life happens. Nancy, 69, from Georgia, bought herself a beautiful elliptical machine last spring. She was excited for 2 whole weeks. Then came a sore knee, then a visit from her daughter, then a few busy days that turned into weeks. And the elliptical? It sat in the corner, quiet and still, except for the guilt that came every time she walked past it. It wasn't just the money she regretted. It was the feeling that maybe she had failed herself, that she'd bought into something she didn't follow through on. But here's the truth. The shame didn't belong to her. It belonged to an idea that fitness had to look a certain way. Expensive, flashy, scheduled, perfect. Nancy finally gave herself permission to let go. She sold the elliptical to a neighbor who truly wanted it. Then she joined a small walking group at the local park. No gear, no pressure, just women, conversation, and fresh air. She told me, "I move more now than I ever did when that machine was in my house, and I smile more too." You don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. And you don't move your body to impress anyone. You do it so it carries you with ease and joy. So if there's something in your home that's gathering dust and guilt, maybe it's time to release it. Not because you gave up, but because you're choosing a different kind of grace. Now, speaking of promises we make to ourselves, let's look at one that often arrives in a shiny package with a big price tag. One that whispers that happiness is just a course away. Learning versus searching. When courses promise what you already know, there's something very tempting about a course that promises to unlock your purpose, your passion, your next great chapter, especially when we reach a season in life where things feel quieter, less structure, fewer roles to play. We start to wonder, what now? That's exactly how Barbara felt. She's 71 from Minnesota and had recently retired after 40 years as a nurse. One afternoon, an ad popped up online. Rediscover Your Fire, coaching for women over 60. It sounded just right, like a bridge to something more. So she signed up. The price tag? Over $4,000. For months, she followed the steps. Weekly Zooms, colorful worksheets, pep talks from people half her age. But deep down, something didn't quite click. One day, Barbara looked over her notes and said out loud, "This isn't new. This is just my life, repackaged." And it was true. The stories that gave her strength, the lessons that shaped her, they weren't taught by a stranger. They were earned through decades of showing up, loving deeply, and rising after every fall. You don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. And sometimes you don't need a new path. You just need to trust the one you've already walked. Barbara stopped searching outward. Instead, she joined a local book club, began mentoring a younger woman, and volunteered once a week at a women's shelter. That's when her purpose returned, not from a course, but from connection. So if you're feeling a little lost, pause. You are not broken. You are not missing anything. You're simply evolving. And maybe, just maybe, what you're looking for isn't out there. It's already within you. Now let's talk about one of the biggest temptations that quietly steals more than money. It steals freedom. Let's talk about the true cost of a brand new car. Big ticket illusions. When new cars shrink your life, there's something powerful about sitting in a brand new car. The clean scent, the polished dashboard, the feeling of starting fresh. It's easy to believe that owning something so shiny means we've done something right. That's what Edith thought too. She was 75 when she bought her first brand new SUV. Leather seats, all the gadgets, a hefty price tag. I deserve this, she told herself. And she did. But after a few months, the glow wore off. The payments didn't. She started skipping little pleasures. Lunch with friends, a weekend getaway, a simple day trip, just to make room in her budget for the car sitting in the driveway. One afternoon, while sipping tea alone, she realized something important. That car wasn't giving her freedom, it was taking it away. She missed the days when she felt light, when she could say yes to spontaneous joy. So, she made a bold choice. She traded it for a used vehicle, 2 years old, reliable, no frills, and with the money she saved, she booked a train trip through the Rockies. That journey, worth every mile. You don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. And maybe we don't need to buy new things to feel new. Maybe what we really crave is movement, not machinery. Memories, not mileage. Because freedom isn't in the car you drive. It's in the life you can still explore when the weight of impressing is replaced with the joy of truly living. And speaking of freedom, let's gently wrap this up with a soft reminder. Sometimes letting go of what we don't need is the most loving thing we can do for ourselves. You're not spending less. You're living more. Sometimes when we talk about cutting back, it sounds like we're losing something, like we're giving up pleasure or comfort or even pride. But that's not what this is about at all. It's not about deprivation. It's about returning to the things that actually fill us up. The warmth of a conversation instead of a cold package on your doorstep. The comfort of a well-worn sweater that hugs your shoulders better than any new brand name. The satisfaction of using what you have with grace instead of chasing what you don't need. I remember a friend of mine, Clara, telling me how she started keeping a little notebook by her kitchen window. Every time she made a choice not to buy something, she'd write down what she did gain instead. A quiet evening, a walk in the sun, a call with her sister. That notebook, she said, was worth more than anything in her closet because it reminded her that she wasn't shrinking her life. She was expanding her peace. You don't clean the house just to make it look good. You do it so it loves you back. That's true for our money too. You don't spend less to look smart. You do it to love your life more deeply. So today, as you think back on these small shifts, ask yourself, what are you making space for? Because every dollar saved is a breath of ease. Every choice to simplify is a gift of time. And every habit you release is a quiet act of self-love. And now I'd love to hear from you. Was there a part of today's journey that touched you? Something you're ready to let go of? Or something gentle you'd like to welcome in its place? Share it in the comments, meaning not just for you, but for someone else who might need that spark too. Until next time, take gentle care, spend wisely, and always remember, less isn't less when your heart is full.